Hello. This is the day before the draft, and I have Chase Aguirre
Draft
here.
Missy.
Yep. And
Draft Missy, baby.
yes. Christmas Eve for all of us.
Mm-hmm.
Draftmas Eve, like Chase is saying. Myself, I'm Mike Hurtaza, and of course, we are the AFP Amateur Fanboy Podcast, which we have hardly used, but it's draft.
Don't worry. Don't worry. After this draft, we're gonna start really
Yeah.
wrapping up some more
Since we
some
got free
shit.
so much free time and no sports.
Yeah, right. You gotta find something.
The problem
Something.
is, after tomorrow, well, this weekend, we have a lot of waiting to do until the NBA, playoffs. We don't know
Yeah. Until
when that's gonna
who
start,
knows when they're gonna even start? Yeah.
or if there's gonna.
Well,
I'm gonna be kind of pissed off if there's no playoffs, if they just cancel it.
I heard something about hockey doing something with no fans starting in like June or July. So that's at least an optimistic. Maybe
Yeah.
we can get some NBA soon.
I'm curious to know if the states, and I know this is off topic because we're gonna go into final thoughts of the NBA of the NFL draft, but um, I'm curious to know if the governor of, like, let's say California, or the mayor, whatever city, is gonna try blocking teams from playing. I know
Right.
they may allow it without fans. I know Florida is already allowing them to. They're saying they're essential workers. I just
Right.
don't understand. I guess on the safety portion of it, I understand it for the commissioner to not put the players out there now, but at some
Yeah.
point in the next month or two, they just need to start rolling. Send all the teams in Florida. There's some resorts there. Just take over the whole resort.
Yeah.
Use
Basically,
Orlando, and you can
I basically,
do a tournament
yeah,
style.
I basically saw that maybe just something like spring training, but instead you have a regular season. It's
Hmm.
just kind of something simple. I mean, at this point, dude, we just need sports. Like,
Yeah,
just make
I
it
agree.
simple.
So with this, I guess we'll just jump on to our final thoughts of the NFL draft, because tonight, which you viewers probably won't see it till tomorrow if you're watching this. Um,
But but by the time you guys see this tomorrow, I guarantee you there's probably been at least 4 or 5 Schefter bombs, rat bombs,
yeah.
Pelisaro
I would
bombs.
assume if there's any trades, things are getting agreed on tonight, and if the player is around that area, nothing crazy has happened, then those teams will finalize those trades and send them off. Everything's got to be done tonight. I don't with the craziness of all these teams being separated from their scouts and their pro personnel, and
Yeah,
they got to kind of get things rolling beforehand, and if things start progressing, and everything goes their way where a player falls, then they move up. That needs to be thought
yeah,
out this week, tonight. Tonight's like a finalized deal. So with that, there was a tweet that I had
yeah.
sent Chase earlier. It states that basically the Detroit Lions and the Miami Dolphins pretty much have the parameters set up for a trade, and that the Lions have already start positioning what players they will potentially pick at 5. So, I mean, there's been rumors all day that supposedly the Dolphins were going to trade up for a tackle, which to me is bogus.
Yeah, no, absolutely not. You don't trade up to number 3. You can take a tackle right there at 5.
At
You don't
5,
trade up unless
yeah.
it's
I guess
unless
the
it's for
only
a
reason they're
quarterback or for Akuda. That's it.
I guess the
Tua
only
or Akuda.
I
That's
guess the
it.
reason is they're trying to jump the Giants for a tackle, like, but there's like
Do you
3
really
elite
need to?
guys. No, they don't
Yeah,
need to.
you don't really need to.
If you're trading up for a tackle, you fail.
Yeah,
Like, you can't do that. I mean, you
it
trade
makes
up
no
for a
sense.
quarterback. You're not going to give up
And it,
a potentially a
yeah,
high second, or maybe even they might have to swap out one of their firsts for the Lions second or something. I'm not sure what the parameters might
if it,
be.
for
You go
for
for a
me, I
quarterback.
just I just see that if the Dolphins stay at 5, they could have Tua if they want there. I don't think the Giants would take him. I really don't think the Lions would
I think
take him.
they're
I know
fearful
for a
that the
fact the
Chargers
Redskins.
come up, though. I think that's what
Yeah,
they're
with
fearful.
the Redskins trade with somebody that kind of takes them. I can understand that, but if that's the case, then trading up to 3, if the Redskins trade with someone that takes
Sure.
them, then you just screwed yourself.
Yeah, I think at this point that's why. Well, they're gonna wait till the Redskins pick, and then they'll finalize the trade with the Lions, and then they'll move up.
Yeah,
I mean,
yeah,
it's all contingent with that player being there.
Yeah, if that's the case, then they're fine.
Hmm.
But I would worry about them making the trade already. Be like, all
But
right, this trade's happening. And it's no takesy backsies, and now you're screwed.
so with that, who do you think it is if they are moving up to 3? I gotta think it's
If the
Tua.
Dolphins are trading up, I would say it's for either Akuda to pair with Byron Jones, who they just signed,
I don't think
or
so
it's
at
for
all.
Tua.
I think it's
I'm saying
Tua
that's the
or
only other
Cooper.
than Tua. That's it. That's
I
all I
think it's
see.
a quarterback for sure. And to me, if you're trading up, it's because you're confident in Tua and you're moving. You don't move up for Herbert. You move up for
No,
Tua.
no, I 100%
Yeah,
believe it's for Tua. I'm just trying to maybe throw another option out
sure.
there. Just and crazier things have happened, but it would probably be for Tua. 99% probably for Tua.
What with that offense, you would assume with the other picks that they're receiving, they gotta get a tackle, a running back, and a receiver, probably in the
Yeah,
first 2 rounds. Get all that done with.
yeah,
And
100%. No, they definitely need to shore up that offensive line, especially if you're going to have Tua back there who just came off an injury. You can't have him getting hurt.
what do you think about the report that the Falcons had called and put out a whole trade offer to the Redskins for 2 to come up for Chase Young?
Um, for me, I just think the Falcons have so many more needs than just one defensive end. Chase Young's a great player. Don't get me wrong. I think he's probably the best defensive player in this whole draft.
Or the
But
whole
I do not think that. But I don't think the Falcons are necessarily one player away. And we had this conversation earlier. We texted back and forth. I just think that the Falcons would be making a huge mistake because they're going to end up having to give up at least a future first, at least another second, and probably a third or a fourth. They're
Yeah.
probably going to have to give up at least 4 or 5 picks, including another first. So you're basically going to lose next year's first for one player when you could probably trade down from where you're at and maybe get some more capital and still have good players.
So Chase,
Yeah.
based off the trade chart, they would have to trade 3 first-round picks to equal the value of moving up to number 2.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
Three. That's 3 years. 3 years of first for Chase
There's
Young.
only two. There's really not too many teams that could do that, and I would say, all right, that makes sense. But the Falcons are not one of them. Absolutely not.
Yeah,
The Packers, the Niners, the Patriots. Maybe I guess
I
if they
wouldn't.
went up for a
Patriots
quarterback.
for a quarterback.
Yeah.
Yeah, not for Chase Young.
Yeah, but not for Chase Young. So,
And-
like I said, it doesn't make sense.
And they have been aggressive in the past. They moved up for Julio Jones. They moved up with the Browns. They gave up their current first and their future first. I'm not sure what the other picks were, but I mean that's a lot of picks to throw out.
Didn't they move up for that defensive end that I like, McKinley, right? Didn't they move up for him too?
McKinley?
Not as high, but a little bit, I think, right?
What year? I
Pat
can't.
McKinley, that was like 2016,
Oh yeah.
2015.
I don't know if they moved up, but I know what you're talking
I'm
about.
not sure if they did or not, but
And I don't think
like
he hasn't even produced.
No, he hasn't. He has not. And he was a guy that I really was actually high on and wanted the Cowboys to grab that year. So I'm kind of glad we didn't at this point.
So, Bengals
But
locked. Yeah. They're locked in with Burrows.
Yep, 100%.
Number 2, Redskins. If they stay there, it's Chase Young. If they move back, it'll probably be a Tua or Chase Young getting taken there. Depends on who moves up.
Yeah, I would say that. Yep.
I gotta assume. I don't think they're gonna move up unless the Chargers, offer them a crazy just to get ahead of the Dolphins. That would be the only idea. And I mean, go for it.
Go for it. No, go for it. Go for it.
I just don't think the Chargers are going to. If they do take a quarterback, I don't think they move up. They never trade up, or they don't. They never. They're not aggressive. I think they either get Herbert or tackle.
Yeah, Herbert
would be my guess. At 3,
the
Lions. I think the Lions are about 75%, maybe 90% trading out of the spot, and it's probably with the Dolphins from what we spoke to. I'm assuming
all depends if Tua's there. Yeah. It all depends if Tua's there. If Tua's there at 3, then that's going to be the pick.
For sure. I think Tua is going to be, if he's there, it's traded, which there should be no reason why he's not there. at 3.
So we could very well see Burrow, Chase Young, or a tackle, which I don't know how.
It's got to
how
be
crazy
right
that
now.
would
It's
be.
Burrow, Chase, and then Tua.
That's what I would say. Yeah, I
And
would
then
100%
the
say that.
tackle
That's what I would.
position will be with the Giants.
The Giants are four.
And I heard a
yeah.
report that they're really high on Becton. And,
Yeah.
and they like the specimen. Go get the guy who has the highest ceiling. I'm not sure if that's the best idea to do it at 5. They are more likely are trying to trade back, which 4. That's why they're trying to trade back as hard as possible, and then they would take Becton. But who's moving up to 4? I mean, what player? Unless you're getting Simmons or a tackle, what other player? Unless you're trying to jump the charge.
I could maybe see the Jags trading up just because maybe they think that Henderson won't be there for them at 9.
Or what's his name? The other corner, Jeff
Or Okuda. Yeah,
Okuda.
exactly. If they like Okuda more and they want to for sure grab him.
Or the Falcons. If the Falcons, there was reports that they were wanting one of these corners. So it could be that the Falcons are just trying to get a top end player to add to their defense. So they could move up. That's still a hefty price to move up that far.
100%.
I
really don't believe that any team that's not in the top 5 should be trying to trade up to the top 5.
Oh, you mean like any team in the top 10? Probably anything outside the top 10 is probably overkill and what you're losing in value.
Exactly.
It's not worth it.
If you're not in the top 10 trying to trade up more into the top 10, you might as well just stay out of it.
And you can definitely tell in the
past. There's no point in the
historical data shows that giving up such amount of picks is not good for team building, and you end up having huge gaps on your roster.
Be the Rams and Jared Goff.
Yes. Yep. I'm gonna mute my phone so it keeps going off. Sorry.
The Rams and Jared Goff, and I don't know if my dad will watch this, but I'm sure he agrees. The Rams trading up for Jared Goff, as good as Goff was, got him to a Super Bowl. I understand that, but the fact of the matter is, they gave up so much that the next 2 or 3 years of the players they could have had if they had kept those picks.
Oh, for sure.
It's absolutely they would be in a much better position right now if they had just waited.
I mean, they could have just traded back a million times and drafted Dak.
Yeah. I mean, shit, they'd probably be better off with that.
I don't know what they would have done. Let's see. Who was their quarterback at the time?
I mean, who knows if they have the team they have now? Or if
Jeff Fisher was the head coach. Moving on to the 5th pick, the Dolphins.
Yes.
If Tua's at 3, they're moving up. The Lions are going to draft a corner, or maybe they go with Brown, the defensive tackle.
So I would say right now, if the Dolphins trade up to 3, it's going to be Tua. Then I would say the Giants probably take the tackle if they're Becton, Thomas, whoever. I would say at 5 is where we could see Okuda go. If the Lions think they like him to replace Slay, then there you go right there. Maybe they like Henderson more. Who knows? But I think that the Lions have a few needs that they need to settle in. They need an offensive lineman.
Might as well try to trade back again.
Yeah, you might as well. You might be looking to see if maybe the Jags want to play ball. Maybe see if the Raiders. I know we talked about teams outside the top 10, but maybe the Raiders
they give up a 2
in the
first.
Top 15 will get crazy, you know. So I mean, there's a lot. There's no reason for the Lions not to continue to talk to teams, because the more they talk to teams, the more options they'll have, and the more picks they could probably get, and then that's more spots you can fill out, because this draft, wide receiver wise, running back wise, hell, even probably
offensive line as well.
Pretty deep. It's pretty deep at those 4 spots.
They could
those 4 spots.
Corner, the 2 positions I would say that is not as deep as defensive tackle and corners.
I would say corners at least 4 deep. I think Okuda is nice. I think Henderson's nice. I think Diggs nice.
AJ Terrell.
Terrell's nice. After that, then we'd start talking about some other
Diggs.
Maybe you're interested.
Diggs scares me a bit, but I'm okay with him in the 2nd. I think there's a huge drop off after the top 3 corners.
I think I think Diggs could be a late first. I think he's a guy that the Chiefs could look at maybe at 31, 32.
Yeah.
But I mean, for the most part, yeah.
The Chargers, though. Moving on to the Chargers at 6.
Let's go. Yeah.
Okay. They are the biggest question mark, because I don't know if they like any of these quarterbacks in that spot. It could be that they go out and get a tackle, and then they trade back in the first, at the back of the first, and take a Jordan Love or a Hurts or something to that nature.
I would say with the Chargers, I'd probably be leaning offensive tackle right now. I would say that's probably where they go, and then they try to get a quarterback.
I think they need to draft a quarterback at some point in the first 2 rounds.
If it's not, sorry, got the hiccups. If it's not Tua or Burrow, I don't think there's any quarterback that they would love there.
Well, Herbert could be. Herbert could be their style, though.
No pun intended.
Yeah, for sure. He definitely has the athletic profile to be in that offense that Philip Rivers didn't have at all.
Who are we talking about? Herbert. Okay, yeah.
And then he does have a big arm, which fits in that offense the way that it's built. But I just question if he is, like we've talked about it. He's Mitch Trubisky mixing with Josh Allen. That's what I compare him to.
Exactly.
He's very consistent.
He has a lot of mobility. He doesn't have much of an arm. He's not very consistent.
Oh, he has a great arm.
Sorry, he's not consistent with his arm. Is what I mean. He's not accurate. He has a big arm, which is nice. You can have a big arm, but it's like having a big, whatever. It doesn't matter much if you don't know what to do with it.
Or if you don't know, or if you don't have a girl to use it on.
There you go. So I mean,
you're shooting into your socks.
Oh my God, we're gonna have to edit that out.
Mm-mm.
But
I'm not doing that.
Go for it. We don't care. Nobody's
watching this.
Carson, maybe my dad, and maybe Austin will check it out. My brother. Other than that, nobody can check this out. But I mean, that's the problem I had with Josh Allen when he came out. Was his arm's great and he had a rocket arm, but so did Jamarcus Russell. But Josh Allen's more talented. Don't get me wrong. I think he's going to be more successful, but it comes down to what can you do with your arm. You can have the biggest arm in the world. You could throw the ball like Patrick Mahomes, but if you can't be accurate, you're not going to be Patrick Mahomes. You're going to be Jamarcus Russell.
For sure. Also, I think if Patrick Mahomes is in a different offense, he's probably good, but he's not great where he's at this moment.
No, I think I won't say he's a system quarterback. I'm not going to call him that. But I think the Chiefs is probably the perfect spot for him to wind up in, because it
probably helped that he has a ton of talent and it's a quarterback-friendly offense. I mean, he does do things. I'll give him credit. He does things that no other quarterback in the NFL can do. But let's say you throw him into a run-first offense, not very creative, doesn't have much talent. You're kind of, throw him on the Raiders right now.
Yeah.
I mean, they have
probably not the same.
Exactly. So, who do you think is the top 10 surprise? There seems to be always one or two guys that kind of drop into the first or the top 10 that, they shouldn't have gone there.
I'm going to go ahead on a limb, and you can call me crazy. That's fine because I live for crazy. I'm going to go ahead and say Justin Jefferson winds up in the top 10.
Fuck, dude. As the first receiver or what?
I think he could very well be I think him and Lamb could very well both go in the top 10.
I have a hard time putting in one receiver. Two is going to be interesting. If he's the first receiver off the board, then I can see him in the top 10.
Read me off the picks from 7 to 10. The teams that are at 7 to 10.
I don't know at this moment. Give me a second. It's about to pop up on the screen. Okay, so
go for it.
Chargers are at 6. Carolina's at 7. They don't need a receiver. Yeah. Arizona's at 8. They don't need a receiver. Jacksonville could use a receiver, but they don't necessarily need one. And then Cleveland's at 10. They don't need a receiver. The Jets are the first team that probably need a receiver. Now, we're not including trades at this moment.
That's what I'm saying. Odell has been talked about with the Browns, even though they claim they're not going to trade him. Christian Kirk with the Arizona Cardinals has been talked about.
I just find it hard to say that the Odell's going to get traded not because he shouldn't be traded, but because of this whole Corona thing, he has to pass a physical for it to go through and the picks to go to the other team. So this would already have to happen weeks ago.
Yeah, no, I got you. But so for me, I don't know. I just think that there's a lot of teams that don't think exactly how we think they're going to think. And I'm not saying that Justin Jefferson will go in the top 10. I'm not saying that two receivers will go in the top 10. You just asked me what
You think?
maybe a surprise, and if I
got
had
you.
to guess, that is what I would think.
I
Because
would
I've heard a
say
lot of people talk about Justin Jefferson going early
I'm
and
gonna
rising
say
up boards. So
I'm gonna say Jordan Love is my surprise in the top 10.
I would say if it's not a wide receiver, I would say Jordan Love or Herbert going in the top 10.
Jordan, no, Herbert, I can see that because in the media he's been mocked the entire time, going at basically switching off with the Dolphins and the Chargers. But
Yeah, someone had him as a
Jordan
Charger,
Love,
yeah.
if the Chargers love Jordan Love, they could pull Daniel Jones, which
Yeah.
I think Jordan Love, I think I would have ranked higher than Daniel Jones at this point. I actually have him as a second round quarterback, and I had Daniel Jones,
Yeah.
I think, in the third.
Yeah, you said third or fourth, yeah.
So I personally see Jordan Love going in the first round, around in the 20s. But
And you got to remember, we're not accounting for possibly teams trading up back into the top 10 or teams trading up from outside that could take Jefferson or take Love. So, at this point, dude, I don't want chaos, but
I want chaos. I want chaos.
I do want chaos.
As long as it's not the Niners.
As many non-cornerback safeties taken, maybe even defensive ends. Honestly, Isaiah Simmons is a guy that I think could slide out of the top 10.
That was my next question. Who do you think slides out of the top 10?
Isaiah Simmons. But I had a lot of Cowboys talk today with people that are thinking that Isaiah Simmons would be amazing if they could get him or Chase
to the Cowboys.
Yeah, but I don't think that he's going to fall that far. But let's just say
you'd have to move up.
Hypothetically, all right, this is all hypothetical.
You move to the 13th pick.
No, you trade up to like 12 or 13. Maybe the Raiders don't like the receiver, and the Cowboys trade up a few spots. From getting from 17 to 12 is a lot more doable and a lot less you have to give up. So I think that there's possibility, maybe not the Cowboys, maybe a team at 15 or 14 that could do that. But I don't know, man. This draft could go one of many different ways, and I don't think anyone can predict it.
I'm going to say that the player I think that could fall out is Jeff Okudah out of the top 10. If CJ Henderson,
oh no, he definitely could. I would agree with him too.
Yep. CJ, and that would be a huge surprise, I think, because he the entire time he was ranked to go in the top, in the top 5 the entire time, and now we're hearing reports that he's not the first player ranked on a lot of teams' boards. So
yeah. It just sounds like Henderson's been rising up a lot of boards and seems like he's getting a lot more love as the top corner in this draft right now.
Well, that would be crazy, and I would assume the Raiders or the Raiders would probably take him.
Honestly, if I'm the Raiders and because I actually talked to one of my Raiders fans that works at Costco, and I asked him, I was like, hey, who do you want the Raiders to take? And he told me Judy or CeeDee Lamb. So if one of those guys isn't there, which honestly one should be at this point,
one will be there. One of the two will be there.
But let's just throw caution in the wind and say none of them are there. The Raiders would be stupid not to think about trading back and maybe grabbing a receiver like a Ruggs later on or a Jefferson
thing is,
later on.
If neither of those two guys are not there at 12, that means somebody fell.
That's what I'm saying. I could very well see Isaiah Simmons falling out.
Could you imagine? Or that would be cool. That would be a great get for the Raiders. Isaiah Simmons or Jeff Okudah.
100%.
I personally think they should go corner at 12.
I think there's so much talent in this top 20 that some team in the 15-20 range and our Niner Cowboy range is going to be pleasantly surprised when they come up to pick a guy that's there. Whether it's Chason, whether it's Simmons, whether it's Okudah, whether it's Henderson, somebody, maybe a receiver like a Judy or a Lamb, one of those guys is going to be there. Like at that point, do you draft best player available or do you go for need? If CeeDee Lamb's there,
no, you never go for need. In my opinion.
If CeeDee Lamb or Justin Jefferson are there at 17, how do the Cowboys not?
Justin Jefferson should be there at 17.
But I think he's very well could be the best receiver in this draft. After CeeDee Lamb, I could see him being better than
personally. I would personally think the Cowboys shouldn't take any DBs at 17. So
I,
if
I,
they
I I agree. I would say just get the best draft best player available, whether it's Chason, whether it's Simmons,
well,
whether it's
if let's say these
whoever.
receivers are gone, and well, I
Okay.
don't think Simmons is there at 17. I don't think
I don't
Akuda's
think I don't,
there.
I don't think
I
he
don't
is
think
either.
Henderson's there.
I don't
More
think
than
so either.
likely, Jerry Judy's gone. CeeDee
Yeah,
Lamb,
probably,
Ruggs. Um,
probably.
Now Justin Jefferson is probably a 95% chance he's there.
Yeah, I'm just
It
saying.
wouldn't be
I
the
it was
it wouldn't be the worst thing. I mean, there's your team does have a lot invested in Amari, Michael Gallup, but you don't really have a slot guy, and
that's what I'm saying.
he would. I don't know. He would probably make your offense. I don't know what weakness you have outside of your center, and that could also not be a weakness because you don't know what you
Yeah.
have what's his name? You drafted him last year. If he plays
Um.
center,
Fuck. God damn it.
does it start
The
with an
guy out of
M?
Texas. No, it's. Oh Lord.
But
Hold on.
you guys know who I'm talking about. They drafted him in the third round, right?
We drafted him in the second, I
Second
think.
round, and then you got your defensive tackle in the third. You were so mad at first when you drafted
Oh,
him.
I was. Oh, I was 100% mad. But you know what? At the end of the day,
I
it's
mean, it looked like.
I mean,
But
he
basically, regardless of the fact, that was your weakness.
hmm
Well, this could be your weakness at this point.
But
It's just your center position on
I
offense.
still think we can plug and play, but I still wouldn't be opposed to it
Are you looking it up or
either.
what?
I'm trying to find it right now. Give me a
Okay.
second. Connor McGovern. There we
Yeah,
go.
I told you it started with
McGovern.
an
Yes.
M.
Well, his last name starts.
Yeah.
But yeah, you're right. You're right.
Um,
Yeah, you're right.
So outside of that, the Cowboys' weakness is their secondary right now.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm surprised you guys have not gone out and picked up a decently slot receiver at this point, just in case.
I still think Goodwin trade with you guys was in the cards.
I mean,
I
that could
still think
happen tomorrow night after the
it very
draft.
well could. Yeah.
It's got to
I think
happen, or I mean, it could happen Friday night because he's not gonna get traded for a second or third round pick. It'll be like
no,
a
a
sixth.
fourth or a fifth.
No,
Yeah,
I think
a
it's like
fifth or
a fifth or sixth, if
yeah,
less. It could be a pick swap.
yeah. I mean, there's a lot of different ways they could go, and even for quarterback, if we're looking, we talked about Winston today. I mean, there's just so many different ways it can go.
Oh,
I think the
question.
Cowboys are gonna.
They are,
What, sorry.
from all reports, it sounds like the Cowboys are going to draft a quarterback in the first 3 rounds. That's what it seems like.
I wouldn't, as long as they draft a couple defensive players or at least one DB or safety. Say they take a receiver in the first round. Say Jefferson's there and they take him. Let's just go ahead and throw that out there. Or a center's there at 17 and they feel more comfortable
Again, they
taking
should
that
trade
there.
back.
And then you take a corner in the second. Then at third, then you've done what you need to do. I mean, that's basically your weaknesses, and then after that you can do whatever you want.
From the Cowboys' needs perspective, they should move back. Regardless, they should move back from 17 because the value from 17 and 27, the players are probably bunched together and all the same. Yeah. I mean, even if you don't get Justin Jefferson, you can go get somebody else. I mean, this receiver class is thick.
Honestly, the guy that I really, really want is either Shenault or Michael Pittman. Honestly, I like both those guys. I think Pittman would be the perfect slot receiver for Dak. I think he'd be amazing.
I mean, he reminds me of Dez.
Yeah, he's really fucking talented.
Yeah. So with that, who do you think has the best draft, or at least the best potentially first round?
I'd probably go with one of the teams that has couple first round picks. So I'd probably either say right now probably the Jags or maybe the Dolphins, depending on what they're able to do with the trade down.
I mean, it depends on how many picks they get rid of here.
Yeah. And maybe the Redskins, as much as I can say it, they could too. The Niners have a chance.
The problem with the Niners, there's a lot of the Niners have 2 firsts, and then they don't have a pick to the 5th round. So they're
Like I
gonna
said,
have
the
to
Niners are able to either.
move.
The Niners could very well either trade down and get more picks and get second rounders, or they could just use maybe their capital with their first round picks to go up and get Chase
I
Young.
just
Who knows?
I don't think the Niners are gonna move up at all.
I don't think they.
I know what you're saying.
All right.
I just don't
Just
think.
know everything I say. I'm just throwing out hypotheticals.
I know. I just think it probably makes sense if one of the receivers that they love, or a couple of them, because there's 3 guys, if they're gone, move back. Or I mean, if you don't love Ruggs or Jerry Jeudy, and the Broncos are offering their 3rd round pick with their 1st round pick to move back 2 spots, go do it, and then you could fill. I mean, the positions of need that they have. I mean, defensive tackle, corner, an offensive tackle, not to start right now, but for potentially for Joe Staley to retire, and receiver. I mean, you move back to 15 if and they're probably you could probably move back again and get another second or third, and then from there you can go get Justin Jefferson or something like that, or a DB or a defensive tackle. I mean, I don't love any of the defensive tackles in this draft, and I don't really like any of the corners outside of the top 2, personally.
Yeah. The only place I differ with you is corner, because I still like Diggs and Terrell. I'm 4 deep on that.
I like Terrell, but he's not. I don't think he's valued a top 15 pick.
I don't think he's top 15. I think he's a 1st round pick
for sure,
or a 1st round value.
I probably have. I have 2 corners probably in the top 20, and then the rest are borderline 1st round picks. I have probably four corners that are rated 1st round picks, and then all of them are in the 2nd, 3rd, and beyond. Receiver, I probably. I think they're probably like 12 deep who can go in the 1st round.
Oh, 100%.
But they won't.
You could go Chenault. You can go Pittman.
Rieger.
You can go Jefferson. Rieger. Peoples Jones. You
Michael
could go,
Pittman.
Michael Pitt. I already said Michael Pittman.
Oh, okay.
Michael Pittman, Peoples Jones, Jefferson, Judy, Ruggs, CeeDee Lamb. That's 6 right there. Chenault, 7. The guy from God damn it, what's his name? Starts with an A. Last name A. It's a very, very weird. It has an AR or something. Anyway, there's a few guys there, dude.
And to think Michael Pittman more than likely is not going to go in the 1st round. He'll probably go in the 2nd.
Oh no, I think Michael Pittman's a late 2nd, early 3rd pick.
I can see him going. I can see him going in the 1st round. At the back
I mean,
end,
I could definitely see him going in the 1st round. I'm just saying where he is more likely to go. But yeah, 100%. There's 7, 8 receivers. You could have 7 if 10 teams needed a receiver in the 1st round. 10 receivers could go in the 1st round.
Yeah,
it's all about need.
For sure. And the thing is, teams are saying, hey, I can get a 3rd or 4th round pick receiver, and he's going to be a starter. Why should I take him in the 1st?
Brandon Ayuk from Arizona State. That's the other guy.
Yeah, he should go in the end of the 1st.
Yeah, he's rated as the 32nd best player, so he's right near the end of the 1st round. Yeah. And don't forget about Higgins either from Clemson. T. Higgins, he's another one. So
T. Higgins.
I mean, there's
also the guy from Baylor.
Mims. I forgot about Mims. Fuck.
It's deep.
It is.
To be fair, though, I probably wouldn't touch a receiver out of Baylor.
Yeah, right. That doesn't go well.
It technically does. Per league source, the Raiders and Jaguars are close to a trade for Yannick. The Raiders are offering pick 19. The Jags want pick 12. Some sources think Jacksonville will get a better offer than 19. If the Raiders trade pick 19 for him, they're retarded.
Absolutely, 100%.
I would basically tell them, here's my... Oh, they don't have a 2nd round pick.
Yeah.
Then you gotta swap me your 2nd for him, and I'll give you the 19th, or they have pick 20.
No, without a doubt, the Jags. The Raiders need to get something from the Jags other than just the player. They can't. The 19th straight up for him is just way too much. He's probably a 2nd, 3rd round value realistically, but it's tough to find a team with a 2nd round.
The Raiders have to give him a big contract as well.
Yeah, that too.
Because I mean,
yeah, that's right.
He's probably not going to sign his franchise Well, he's got to sign his franchise tender to even be traded, so the trade probably won't even go through by tomorrow.
Now, that's another thing. Leonard Williams signed his tender with the Giants. Is he an option to get traded?
I don't see what team would take him with a $16 million cap space. He's
I
not
don't think
worth
so
it.
either, but I just heard something about
He
that
did.
today,
He
so
signed
I
it
bring it up.
today. Maybe he signed it just in case
Yeah,
that he
who
hopes
knows?
to get moved. I just
Yeah,
don't
could be.
see a team. He's not very good. I mean,
He used to be, but he's not anymore.
it just it's insane. And then they still have Quentin Williams. Or I'm thinking of the
Yeah,
Jets right
that's
now.
right, huh?
Sorry,
Yeah.
Dexter Lawrence is what I'm thinking of.
Oh, Dexter Lawrence. Yeah, that's
I
right,
mean,
huh?
they have two defensive tackles that kind of do the same thing, and I don't know why I don't even know why the Giants traded for him at the end of the season. There was no,
It made no sense.
it
They
made
were
no
not
sense.
contending.
It
Made
really
no sense.
didn't.
Yeah. Yeah.
So man, if the Raiders do that, I think they are definitely overpaying. They
When did you see this? Because
I
I'm not. I
I
haven't
just
seen it.
saw it.
Because I'm not seeing it here. Let me maybe go to Twitter and see what I can see.
Yeah. Okay. So what is your best NFL draft experience? Like, what's your best thing that you have, best memory?
What do you mean?
Like, what is the best NFL draft memory for you in the past?
I would probably say when we took Zeke Elliott.
Really?
I would say 100%. I think I was the most pumped I was for a pick.
Really?
Maybe you know what? Maybe Dez. You know what? Dez Bryant. Actually, I remember where I was that day. Dez Bryant was pretty memorable. I remember going right before or after after Demaryius Thomas. But yeah, I mean, there's been a couple. I would say a toss up between Zeke and Dez, probably.
Hearing a lot of recent buzz about the Giants dealing down and Jacksonville perhaps dealing up. One would think for a quarterback. Ooh.
Yeah, I like I said, I could very well see Jacksonville trying to get up into that top three. Maybe they trade with the Redskins and they really like
over under for trades. What would you say? I like over under 5 in the first round.
Over without it.
In the first round?
In the first round, 100%.
Okay, over under 10. I'd say under.
I'd probably
like 6 or 7.
I'd say 6 to 8. Yep, 6 to 8.
And one last thing, I forgot to say my my best memory was when Daniel Jones got drafted to the Giants and Chase did a cartwheel and it was the worst cartwheel I have ever seen, and it's on YouTube.
Yeah.
It's pretty funny, and you know how excited we were for that.
I was very excited.
You were very excited.
I was very excited.
Yeah, because you thought it was an awful reach, and I still think it is.
I still think it is. I think Daniel Jones can be, like I said, I already said it once, I'll say it again. I don't think Daniel Jones, the quarterback, is bad. I was actually high on him. I just think he needed to go to the right spot, and the Giants was not it.
Oh, I remember one. Do you remember when the Bills took a quarterback at 15? What was his name?
EJ Manuel.
EJ Manuel, and we were driving back from getting pizza, and we were listening to it on the radio, and we were like,
Geno Smith too, right, to the Jets, right?
We were like, Geno Smith went to the second round to the Jets.
Yeah,
he fell.
Okay.
But we were like, what? He's not even a first round value pick, and he played one season starting his rookie year, and I don't even think he started like off the bat, and then he got like benched for Tyrod Taylor.
Dude, that
was the worst trade ever.
Oh my god!
The worst draft
pick.
They
drafted him. They didn't even trade. They just said, "All right, that's who we're taking at 15."
We were like, "What the hell just happened?" We were like,
"I remember that. I do remember that. I do remember that."
We drove all the way to the city.
We were
to another city to get pizza. Me and Ed.
Yes.
And we were driving back. We were very close to my house. Almost
listening to it on the radio. Yeah.
And we were listening to see who the pick was. It was crazy.
Dude, that was wild. Still a very memorable time.
I think last year's draft was very fun because of the Cole Kyler Murray mess and the Josh Rosen mess.
Yeah.
This year's fun because everyone's like dying, not from coronavirus, but from staying at home, but also the coronavirus.
Yes.
There is actually some fundraisers happening tomorrow during this whole thing. I think the NFL is putting $50 million, and they're hoping to raise up to $100 million tomorrow.
Yeah, for booing the commissioner. Yeah.
Oh, could you? Oh, so they are allowing
That's
fans. So when the team picks, they're gonna have like a green screen on the back and behind Roger Goodell, and you'll be able to see fans' reaction while the pick is happening in his basement. So we'll see how that plays out. I hope tomorrow fucking is like terrible. Like there's a bunch of shit falling apart. You know, the GMs draft the wrong player. Like as long as it's not the Niners,
honestly,
Seahawks.
How much is that CBS Sports video that came out with the whatever? How much is that going to be? Very, very like on point.
Oh, the Bengals, they accidentally drafted Hurts instead of Burrows.
Yeah, they're like, Joe, we want Joe. Oh, you want okay, Bengals, you get Joe Burrow.
I hope a team
Bears, why are you here? You don't even have a first round pick.
You know, the craziest thing is they're saying that the media hype of players and the team hype is completely different. We're gonna see teams like completely.
That's what I'm saying. You got to remember that there's really no. I mean, they're not saying there's not a big board, but there's really no clue on what these teams are actually thinking.
The media,
like, we literally could be surprised after Joe Burrow and Chase Young. We could be shocked that fucking Jordan Love goes fourth overall to the Giants. Like, we don't know.
To the Giants, like, please do that, Giants.
Who knows? So someone brought it up today. One of my Cowboys Twitter friends said, "What if the Giants give up on Daniel Jones? Who knows?"
What if the Cardinals go pick a quarterback for the third year straight in the first?
Yeah, right. And then trade Kyler Murray. Fucking, I don't know, man.
To the Cowboys.
I'm super excited to be blown away tomorrow. I want some team to blow me away. I want a pick to come in, and I want to have my mouth open. Like,
what would you do if they draft a quarterback in the first round?
Well, I can tell you two things happen if they draft a quarterback in the first round. One, Dak Prescott's probably getting traded or not getting signed past the franchise tag. And two, the Cowboys are probably going to just suck next year.
What if, I mean, you get Jordan Love, you let him sit behind Dak for a season.
I just think
let Dak walk.
I just don't know how smart that is, man. Dak's the real deal. Dak has shown it now 2 straight years.
Let's say
he's the real deal.
Let's say this quarterback's making, $4 or $5 million a season, and Dak's making $37 a season. You can use that extra money to build around him.
I understand. I just think that at some point you're gonna have to pay the quarterback. At some point, you can't just keep going quarterback to quarterback based off salary. You just got to pay the dude at some point.
Last question before we end this thing.
Okay. Like that's sorry, real quick before you go on whatever you're gonna go on.
What's up?
You're fine. Just that's like saying like the Patriots or the
the Patriots should have moved on Tom Brady already. So, that's their fault.
That's like saying that the Chiefs shouldn't pay Mahomes until just keep.
Mahomes is the exception.
It just makes no sense, dude. Like Dak proved he's a baller. Pay the man his money. You can't just not pay quarterbacks.
I agree. Let's give him $50 million a season because he deserves it.
All right.
$50 million
what were we gonna say?
For 2 seasons. That's $100 million.
Yeah, give him $100 million guaranteed for 3 years. Call it a day.
Final thoughts on the draft. What's something that who's your favorite player in this draft?
Oh, 100%. It's oh shit, the receiver from what's his name? God damn it. We were just talking about him 2 seconds ago. Not Judy, CeeDee Lamb. CeeDee
Lamb is your favorite?
Lamb, yes.
I think
going with Oklahoma again.
I think Ruggs is my favorite player in this draft, but there isn't a Bosa for me in this draft. There isn't somebody that I would lick his ears because he's that amazing.
Oh my god, I can't wait for Bosa to just completely fall off a cliff.
No, he will never fall off the cliff. He is the man.
We'll see, man.
I think
they're gonna get tape on him. I think he's gonna.
They already have tape on him, but that doesn't mean anything. He was double teamed the entire season. His rookie year.
I'm not saying he's gonna. I'm not saying he's going to suck next year.
He had the most quarterback hurries in the NFL last season. The most.
I'm not saying he had an amazing rookie year. He's gonna come down a little bit down to it.
Oh, I don't. I think he's only scratching.
All right, well,
no, I think he'll probably end up being 10 to 12 sack man his entire career.
I mean, he could be 10 to 12 sacks, but I mean, DeMarcus Lawrence is 10 to 12 sacks.
Yeah, DeMarcus Lawrence is one of the better defensive ends in the league.
100%. I think he's the best.
Well,
I think he's the best. I think he's 100%
I would take the Vikings Hunter. He's probably,
no,
for sure. I would take him over DeMarcus Lawrence easily.
Oh no. No, DeMarcus Lawrence is my favorite. DeMarcus Lawrence, I stand for DeMarcus Lawrence.
Khalil Mack too. I would take Khalil Mack.
Oh, I would take Khalil Mack, but Khalil Mack's not really a pass rusher.
Yes, he is.
He's more of a linebacker.
No, he's a pass rusher.
He doesn't strictly rush the.
Yes, he does.
Really?
If they put him in coverage, I mean, he can be in coverage because he's that damn amazing.
I've seen him more in coverage.
He's a pass rusher. No, he's a pass rusher.
Am I crazy? Maybe,
yes.
Maybe I am crazy. Okay.
I mean, he can. I mean, Nick Bosa can go in coverage, but doesn't mean he should. That's his primary position.
I don't know why I'm just seeing Khalil Mack more in coverage than pass. I don't know.
You need to watch more Khalil Mack.
Yeah, apparently. Maybe that was with the Bears. He is
with the Bears. I mean, with the Raiders, the Raiders team would just suck. He was the only talent on that team.
Yeah, you're right.
Okay, so yeah, Ruggs is my favorite player.
Okay, I said CeeDee Lamb. Yes.
Any other players outside the first round that you're hoping to get?
Honestly, I would not mind Diggs or McKinney from Alabama.
Or Del Pitt.
Also, like I said, I really like Michael Pittman too.
Yeah, I think this free agency is gonna be crazy. This undrafted free agent, because we don't know how all these players that have health issues that are probably potential second, third round picks, they're gonna fall because teams don't know anything. Like their doctors haven't visited with them and checked them out.
I mean, obviously, there's like a realistic like CeeDee Lamb. Like, come on, he's gonna go in the first round. But like, there's players like Okudah or
Okudah,
Henderson. We just don't know how high they are on Okudah compared to Henderson, or how high they are on Ruggs compared to
the thing
Jefferson.
is, those two though, are like probably a difference of 2 to 5 picks where they might.
But that's
swap.
what I'm saying. Like it's just crazy. Like it could get nuts tomorrow. Is all I'm saying.
It's gonna be the best time. Check us out. We will be live tomorrow on YouTube. It's not going to only be us. We'll be
live. We're going to be live today.
We're going to have
YouTube. By the time
there you go.
This, it's going to be today. Yes.
We are going to have a couple friends. There'll be unfortunately 2 Cowboys fans here, Chase and then another guy, and then a Packers fan. Myself.
Who's the other one? I know Carson's going to be here. Who's the other one?
It's you and Carson. You're the Cowboy fans.
I thought you were talking about 2 on top of me.
No, just you. You and Carson.
And somebody else. Okay, yeah.
And then we have a Packers fan. I'm a Niners fan. We have potentially a Broncos fan who might drop in a little bit. And then a Raiders fan potentially.
Raiders fan, yeah.
And
who's the Bronco? Anthony?
Anthony might drop in for a little bit.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Cool. All right.
So this will be fun. I hope the Niners draft and everyone else fucking drafts a bunch of bums.
And I hope the Cowboys draft amazing and everyone else
Cowboys.
Sucks at. So there we go. Yeah, fuck the Niners.
No, Cowboys suck. I'm just kidding.
Niners suck.
I don't care. Hey, we are not sucky. We made the playoffs and then lost the Super Bowl. And then we saved so many people from not getting the coronavirus because of losing the Super Bowl. Because if they would have had a parade, there would have been a massive outbreak because of that. And I would have been there.
Oh, goodness gracious. Yeah, you would have had the Rona, huh?
I actually think I had the Rona the day after my symptoms got really bad. And then it went away. I think I'm symptom free now. I think I'm like antibodies. I got them in here, and I can go out there and lick some toilet seats, and I'd be fine.
Hey.
I might get an STD or something, but
oh goodness,
from licking it.
No, for the STD.
Yeah.
All right.
With that,
well,
let's go.
Fun, guys.
All right. Have a good night sleeping, everybody. Don't die, and if you can, don't lick the toilet seats.
Don't lick the toilet seats.